Have you ever found yourself feeling a little more cautious behind the wheel lately? Maybe you've noticed it takes you a bit longer to react, or you're second-guessing a lane change. It's completely normal. Our bodies change with age, and with that, the way we drive can change too. But here's the good news. Just because we're getting older doesn't mean we have to stop driving confidently or safely. In fact, many drivers over 60 are not only safe but thriving on the road. All it takes is a few simple adjustments to keep you driving longer, safer, and with that confidence you've always had. I end today's video. We're going to talk about 5 essential tips that will help you stay safe, maintain your independence, and feel secure every time you get behind the wheel. Driving is a big part of our daily lives, and keeping that independence as we age is more important than ever. So, let's dive into the first couple of tips to help you drive longer and with peace of mind. Let's start with something that's often overlooked: staying physically fit. Now, I'm not saying you need to run a marathon or hit the gym every day, but just a little attention to your body can make a huge difference in your driving experience. Have you ever noticed how your reaction time slows down when you're feeling stiff or achy? It can make simple tasks like braking or turning the wheel a bit more difficult. But when your body is in better shape, you'll feel more agile and your reaction time can improve. Take a moment to think about how good it feels when you're not carrying any extra tension in your muscles, or when your joints aren't creaking every time you turn the steering wheel. Regular stretching, light exercises, or even a short daily walk can help keep your body in motion, making driving a lot more comfortable. Plus, when you're physically active, you're doing wonders for your circulation and muscle tone, which can help with stamina on longer drives. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. Just a few simple movements to keep your joints limber and your muscles strong can make a world of difference. For instance, you can start your day with a few shoulder rolls to loosen up, or take a gentle walk around the block to get your legs moving. The key is consistency, and it doesn't matter if it's 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Every bit helps. And as a bonus, staying active will help keep your energy levels up, which is essential for safe driving, especially if you're out and about during the day. Now, let's talk about something else that becomes more important with age: your vision. As we age, our eyesight naturally changes. It's normal to need glasses or find that your night vision isn't what it used to be. But the good news is you can take steps to keep your vision sharp for as long as possible, which is vital for your safety when driving. One of the most important things to remember is to keep up with regular eye exams. I know it can feel like just another thing on your to-do list, but getting your eyes checked at least once a year helps you catch any early signs of issues like glaucoma or cataracts. Early detection makes it easier to manage these conditions and keep your driving safe. And if you do wear glasses, make sure your prescription is up to date. It's a small thing, but it can make a big difference when you're out on the road. Another simple trick to improve your vision while driving is to keep your windshield clean. It sounds almost too basic, but you'd be surprised how much clearer the road looks when your windshield is free of smudges and streaks. Also, consider adjusting your mirrors for maximum visibility. Even little tweaks can make your driving experience much safer and more comfortable. With these first 2 tips, keeping your body in shape and your eyes sharp, you're already on the path to safer, more confident driving. Now that we've covered how important physical fitness and vision are, let's move on to another crucial factor: staying mentally sharp. As we age, it's important to keep our minds as engaged as our bodies. Mental sharpness plays a huge role in how quickly we react to things on the road. For example, if you're caught off guard by a sudden stoplight or a pedestrian crossing, you want your brain to be alert and ready to respond instantly. Keeping your mind active through puzzles, reading, or even learning something new can help improve your reaction times and decision-making abilities. One way to do this is by practicing things like mindfulness or mental exercises. Try taking a few minutes each day to focus on your surroundings and concentrate on deep breathing. This practice can help sharpen your focus and calm your mind, which will improve your ability to make quick decisions when driving. With your body and mind in top shape, you'll find that driving becomes less about worrying and more about enjoying the journey. And that's what we all want, right? Confidence behind the wheel. So, now that we've covered physical and mental preparation, let's explore another key area that affects your driving: the car itself. Make sure your vehicle is in good working condition. It sounds simple, but it's often overlooked. Regular maintenance is essential for keeping your car safe, reliable, and easy to drive. Now, you might be thinking, but I don't have the time or money to get it checked every few months. Well, here's the thing: it doesn't have to be a huge commitment. A quick checkup once or twice a year can catch any potential issues before they become big problems. For example, keeping an eye on your tires, checking fluid levels, and making sure your brakes are in good condition can save you a lot of stress in the long run. This kind of maintenance can also help ensure your vehicle is operating at peak performance, which means you'll have more control, better handling, and a smoother drive. Plus, if you're not already familiar with the basics, ask your mechanic to explain simple maintenance steps so you can take charge of it yourself. It's empowering, and it will help you feel even more confident behind the wheel. Now that we've tackled some key areas like fitness, vision, mental sharpness, and vehicle maintenance, let's take a look at another important aspect: driving habits. Now that we've covered the first few tips, let's move on to some specific driving habits you can adopt to improve your safety and confidence on the road. As we continue, let's focus on adjusting your driving habits. After all, how you drive is just as important as how prepared you are before you even get behind the wheel. One of the easiest ways to improve your driving is to adapt your speed to match your comfort level. Now, I know there's often pressure to keep up with the flow of traffic, but as we age, we become more aware of how quickly things can change on the road. And that's perfectly okay. It's important to remember that driving slower can actually make you safer. In fact, studies have shown that drivers who maintain a slightly slower, more consistent speed tend to have better reaction times and fewer accidents. You don't need to speed up or rush just because the cars around you are going faster. Instead, focus on staying at a pace that feels comfortable for you. And don't be afraid to leave a little extra space between you and the car in front of you. That extra distance gives you more time to react if something unexpected happens. So, if everyone else seems to be flying by, don't worry about it. The goal is to stay calm and collected, not to keep up with every car on the road. Another great habit to adopt is to always stay aware of your surroundings. This means not just focusing on the car directly in front of you, but also keeping an eye on everything happening around you. Your peripheral vision, especially, can be a huge asset. Keeping an eye on pedestrians, cyclists, and even other vehicles that might be changing lanes can give you the heads up you need to stay safe. It's about being proactive rather than reactive. Now, one common area where we can all be a little better is in the way we handle intersections. They can be tricky, especially when we're trying to make a turn or merge with traffic. A lot of accidents happen at intersections simply because someone wasn't paying attention, or they didn't take the extra time to check for pedestrians or other vehicles. Here's a tip. When approaching an intersection, take a deep breath and pause for a second to reassess the situation. It's better to be safe and double-check than to rush and possibly miss something. Also, when turning, it's easy to forget to use your turn signals, especially if you're making a quick decision. But those little blinks of your signal light can go a long way in communicating with other drivers. It lets them know what you're planning to do, so they can adjust accordingly. Even though it may seem like a small gesture, signaling helps prevent misunderstandings that could lead to accidents. And it's a habit that only takes a moment to implement but could save you from a lot of stress later. As we talk about driving habits, we can't ignore one of the most important aspects of road safety: staying calm in stressful situations. Sometimes, driving can feel overwhelming, especially when there's a lot going on around you. Heavy traffic, tight parking spaces, or drivers who seem to be in a rush. It's natural to feel a bit tense in these situations, but the key is to stay calm and not let frustration take over. When you're feeling stressed, take a moment to breathe deeply and remind yourself that you've got this. If someone cuts you off or honks at you, resist the urge to react immediately. Instead, stay calm, keep your hands on the wheel, and let the moment pass. Staying composed not only makes you a safer driver, but also makes your entire driving experience much more enjoyable. You know, driving can often feel like a dance with the road. The more you practice being aware, adjusting your habits, and staying calm, the smoother the ride becomes. And this isn't just about avoiding accidents. It's about building your confidence, which is essential for maintaining a positive experience every time you drive. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about one more important habit that can have a big impact on your driving: taking regular breaks on longer trips. Long drives can be exhausting, and we all know that fatigue can slow down reaction times and impair decision-making. But here's the thing: taking a break every couple of hours can completely change your experience on the road. If you're planning a trip that will take more than a couple of hours, it's a great idea to stop, stretch your legs, grab a quick snack, and hydrate. Even just a 10-minute break can do wonders for your focus and energy. Stretching your legs and moving around for a few minutes will help your circulation and keep you alert. It's amazing how much a brief pause can reset your mind and body, making you feel refreshed and ready to continue safely. Taking breaks also gives you the chance to check in with how you're feeling. Are you getting sleepy? Are your eyes tired? If so, it might be a sign to stop for a little longer or even take a nap. Remember, driving while drowsy is just as dangerous as driving under the influence, so listening to your body is key. Never push yourself to keep going if you're feeling tired. Rest is essential to staying safe. Now that we've covered a few habits that help you stay safe and confident behind the wheel, let's explore the importance of driving in the right conditions. Driving at night or in bad weather can be more challenging for everyone, but it can be especially tricky as we get older. It's important to be extra mindful when the weather changes or when the sun starts to set. If you know you'll be driving after dark, try to plan your trip earlier in the day when your visibility is at its best. If that's not possible, make sure your headlights are working properly and that your windshield wipers are in good condition. Sometimes, even the smallest things like a well-maintained wiper blade can make a huge difference when driving in the rain. If the weather is particularly bad, whether it's rain, snow, or fog, consider postponing your drive if possible. If you absolutely have to drive, take it slow, give yourself more time, and increase your following distance. Weather conditions can affect how quickly you stop, so it's always better to err on the side of caution. Now that we've talked about driving habits and the importance of driving in good conditions, let's move on to the final tip, one that might surprise you, knowing when to give up the keys. Stay tuned, because this is a really important conversation to have. As we wrap up our conversation about safe driving, we need to talk about something that can be a little tough for many of us to think about, knowing when it's time to give up the keys. Now, this doesn't mean you'll never drive again, but sometimes there comes a point where it might be safer for you, and for everyone on the road, to take a step back from driving regularly. This is one of the most difficult decisions to make, but it's also one of the most important ones. The truth is, it's not always easy to recognize when our driving abilities have changed, and that's okay. We all want to hold onto our independence for as long as possible, but it's also important to listen to our bodies and our instincts. If you've been noticing that your reaction times are slower, or you find yourself feeling confused in traffic or unfamiliar situations, it might be time to consider alternative options. Here's the thing. Making this decision doesn't mean you've lost your independence. In fact, it can be empowering. There are so many great alternatives today. Public transportation, ride-sharing services, or even getting help from family or friends that can keep you moving and give you back your freedom without the worry of being on the road when it might not be safe. If you find yourself avoiding driving at night, struggling to keep up with other cars, or feeling nervous on busy roads, those are all signs that it might be time to reassess your driving habits. And, of course, if you've had an accident or near miss, that's a red flag that it's time to have a serious conversation about your safety. We've all heard those heartbreaking stories of older drivers who continue driving even though it's no longer safe for them, and those situations often lead to accidents that could have been avoided. So, if you're at a point where you're considering whether to continue driving, start by having an open and honest conversation with someone you trust. Could be a family member, a close friend, or even your doctor. Get their perspective and listen to their concerns. Sometimes, hearing an outside opinion can be eye-opening and can help you make a more informed decision. And if you do decide that it's time to reduce your driving or stop altogether, know that it doesn't mean you have to give up the things you love. You can still get around, see your friends, go shopping, or attend appointments. The only difference is that you'll be doing it in a way that's safer for you and for those around you. Now, before we wrap things up, let's take a moment to remember everything we've covered today. We've talked about how important it is to stay physically active, keep your vision sharp, stay mentally alert, and adopt safe driving habits. And we've also discussed the importance of knowing when to step back from driving, if necessary. Each of these tips is designed to help you stay confident, safe, and in control when you're on the road. But here's the bottom line. There is no magic formula for making sure you stay safe behind the wheel as you get older. What's most important is that you listen to yourself. Trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. And don't be afraid to make adjustments, whether it's modifying how or when you drive, or even making the decision to hand over the keys. Remember, you're not alone in this. So many people are in the same situation, and the support and resources are there. You can still live an active, independent life after 60, and driving, in whatever form that takes, can still be a part of that. If you're feeling nervous about making changes, know that it's okay to take your time. Every little step you take towards safer driving is a step in the right direction. And you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your loved ones too. Because at the end of the day, it's all about your safety and well-being. Before we finish up, I want to encourage you to take a moment to reflect on how you're feeling about your own driving habits. Have any of these tips sparked a change in your thinking? Maybe it's time for a new routine or a checkup on your car, or perhaps it's time to schedule an eye exam. Whatever it is, Remember that small changes can make a big difference. And don't forget, if you found these tips helpful, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you tried any of these strategies? Do you have any other driving tips that have worked for you? Sharing your experiences can be really valuable for others in the community. If you found this video useful, don't forget to give it a like and consider subscribing for more content like this. We're all in this together, and the more we share, the safer we'll all be. Finally, let's remember that no matter how old we are, we can keep driving with confidence as long as we're smart about it. So, here's to driving safely, staying independent, and living your best life at any age. Keep that confidence up and enjoy every journey, big or small. Take care, and I'll see you next time.